Genius Kids. Cultivating love for learning.
Chapter 9: A Narrow Escape. Gerard and Denise were passing through a forest, a few miles from Dusseldorf. Gerard carried an axe with a long handle, and Denise a crossbow. These were the only weapons they had to defend themselves against robbers as well as wild animals. And they had been warned about murderous robbers who attacked travelers. But neither robbers nor wild animals had actually been seen around yet. And Gerard felt safe in Denise's company. So he decided not to worry about them. He walked beside his companion, lost in daydreaming. Suddenly, Denise laid a hand on Gerard's shoulder saying "Hosh." He said it in all low whisper, but it sounded louder than thunder in Gerard's ear. He heard a rustling noise in the wood nearby. Then twang went Denise's crossbow and run, shouted Denise. Run forward and guard the road. He is hit. He is hit. Gerard ran forward. As he ran, a young bear rushed out of the wood right upon him. Finding its path barred, it immediately went back upon its hind legs with a snarl and opened its jaws and claws for an attack. Gerard raised his axe and struck a powerful blow on the beast's nose. The poor creature fell down. Excited with his quick victory, Gerard hit it again and again with all his force. "Stop it," commanded Denise. "You are being stupid, spoiling good meat." Word meaning: companion, fellow, rustling, cracking, snarl, to growl, stupid, foolish. "What?" exclaimed Gerard. "Do you eat robbers?" "Raw bears can be roasted, you silly," Denise said, laughingly. "What's the matter with you? You have been hitting a bear, not a robber. It's a young cub and its meat will be excellent." All along on their way, the two friends had been told stories of robbers. Gerard's head being full of these stories, he had believed that Denise has shot his arrow at a robber. It was not easy to recognize robbers, and Gerard had heard they often wore bear skin. Denise handed his bow over to Gerard and said he was going to carry the dead bear. "We will carry it by turns," Gerard offered. "Poor thing. How his blood drips," he said as Denise lifted it up. "Why did you kill it?" "For supper," answered Denise, "and for the reward we shall get in the next town." In those days, rewards were offered to hunters who destroyed wild beasts. These animals were dangerous to human lives, and besides, they killed cattle and damaged crops. "We did not have to kill so young a cub," Gerard protested. "I am sure its mother loves it as dearly as ours love us. She will miss it badly tonight." "But how do you know she is alive?" Denise asked. "I'm quite sure this cub's father and mother have both been already killed and neither of them will come to claim it." Gerard thought this made the dead even worse. "Then we have killed an orphan, who was all alone in this world. He had no one but God to look after him," he said. "What's flowing in your veins?" asked Denise. "Is it blood or milk?" Feeling of pity like Gerard's were not considered to be mainly in those days. "If we all looked at our actions as you look at them," Denise went on, "there would be no more hunting or fighting. No one would win any honors in wars, nor would there be any exciting sports in peace." Gerard did not listen to the last of these remarks, because his ear was attracted by a sound coming from behind him. Something heavy, but not hard, was rushing over the dead leaves. He turned round with a little curiosity, and what did he see? At a distance of about 60 paces, a huge animal was advancing towards him. It was the mother bear. 2. Denise. Oh, Denise! Gerard called under his breath. The mother, whispered Denise hoarsely. She was coming in search of her cub, following its track with the help of its scent. Suddenly, she raised her head and rushed madly at the two men with open jaws and fiery eyes. Shoot! Screamed Denise. But Gerard was motionless with fear. Word meaning: dearly, fondly, heartily, often, a child whose parents are dead. Scent: a distinctive smell of something or someone. Fiery: of or like fire. Too late, climb up a tree, you fool. Shouting out these words, Denise threw down the dead cub, pushed Gerard across the road, ran to the first tree and climbed it as fast as he could. Gerard climbed another tree. They got time to climb because the bear stopped by her cub for a minute. But the moment she found it was dead, she flew to Denise's tree and started climbing it steadily. Unluckily, Denise had climbed a dead tree. It had no branches, and there were no other trees nearby. Sitting at the top of the tree, Denise looked at the bear. He looked at death approaching him slowly, but surely. In a few minutes its jaws would close to him. But he decided to meet it like a man. When Gerard saw the danger in which his companion was, his fear turned into anger. He slipped down his tree in a second, picked up the crossbow that he had dropped on the road, ran to Denise's tree and shot an arrow into the bear with a loud yell. "Keep off, or you are a dead man," cried Denise. "I don't care." Gerard shouted back and shot another arrow into the bear, screaming, "Take that! Get away, you idiot, get away!" Denise was roaring. He was right. The bear was now slipping fast down the tree to attack Gerard. Gerard ran swiftly back and climbed his tree, but before he could get beyond the bear's reach, she struck at his legs with her forepaw, tearing his clothes off along with a piece of flesh. But he climbed and climbed. "Go out on that branch," he heard Denise shout. He threw himself across a big branch and moved off to the end of it. From there he watched the climbing beast. The bear was mounting steadily up. She arrived where Gerard's branch started. His heart stood still. But then he thanked God. The bear was climbing straight up the trunk of the tree. She had not noticed him on the branch. Word meaning: cub, a young one of bear. Yell, to cry with a loud sound. Screaming, to make a piercing cry, swiftly, fast, rapidly. But soon she realized her mistake. She slowly climbed down to Gerard's branch and advanced towards him. There was now no escape for him from death. If he jumped off, he would fall 40 feet down and break his bones. And if he did not jump off, the bear would crack his skull in her jaws. His blood froze with fear. Then suddenly he heard a twang. He looked down. There on the ground stood Denise taking aim with the crossbow. Twang! Came another arrow and another. But the bear moved on towards Gerard. He saw her bloodshot eyes as in a mist. Her jaws were opened wide and her hot breath was on his face. Twang! Twang! More arrows. The angry bear's jaws snapped shut. Gerard heard the noise, but he felt nothing. They had missed him. They had closed in the air inch from Gerard. Then the huge beast's heavy body fell down to the ground with a loud thud. It was dead. It was a narrow escape for the two friends. Word meaning: snapped, made a sharp cracking sound, huge, extremely large, thud, a dull heavy sound, narrow, of small width.
like, share, and subscribe.